Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I will show you how to crochet the Honolulu Button Scarflette. This is an easy to crochet scarf or little scarf. That's why I called it a scarflette, because it's a little bit shorter and narrower. And it's worked in an all over mesh or eyelet. It has 3 buttons to close the scarf. And for this project, you're going to need 220 yards of yarn. I crocheted the original one from the written pattern, which can be found on the Fiberflux blog, in Cascade 220, which is a wool yarn. For this tutorial, I am also going to use a cotton yarn. This is just something you would use for dishcloths. You could use Lion Brand's Cotton Ease. You could use Spin Right's Peaches and Cream. You could use Lily's Sugar and Cream. You can also use, I have some over here, some worsted weight acrylic yarn. Whatever you have on hand of a similar weight. And you'll need a 5mm H crochet hook. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle for weaving in your ends and sewing the buttons on. And we'll move these out of the way. You'll also need 3 buttons. These particular buttons are fabric covered buttons that I made. And if you're interested in making your own buttons like these, I have a video on how to make fabric buttons, and I will put the link to that tutorial below if you need that as well. So let's get this out of the way. Let's begin our scarf. To begin our scarf, I'm going to be using some green. I used some bright pink, and I wanted to get bright and colorful with this design. We're going to put a slip knot on our hook. To make a slip knot, wrap the yarn around your fingers and make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your crochet hook, bring up a loop and tighten it up on your crochet hook. We're going to be making a starting chain of 25. To make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. Zoom in just a hair. There we go. So that's 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So we have our starting chain here. To work the foundation row, in the 5th chain from the hook, this loop here does not count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to work a double crochet, then a chain 1. To work a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert it into the chain, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Then chain 1. Then we're going to skip a chain, and in the chain after that, we'll do the same thing. Double crochet, chain 1. Then we're going to skip a chain, and in the chain after that, double crochet, chain 1. Skip the next chain in the chain after that, double crochet, chain 1. Skip the next chain in the chain after that, double crochet, chain 1. Skip the next chain and the chain after that. You'll want to double crochet, whoops, there we go, double crochet and chain 1. Skip the next chain and the chain after that, double crochet, and chain 1. Skip the next chain and the chain after that. We're going to double crochet and chain 1. Skip the next chain and the chain after that. Double crochet, chain 1. Skip the next chain and the chain after that. Double crochet and chain 1. Skip the next chain, and in the very last chain, work 1 more double crochet. Our foundation row is complete. You can already see the mesh eyelets starting to form. So let's move on to row 1. To work row 1, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and turn our work. And I wanted to talk a little bit here. This pattern, we're going to work in the spaces, the holes or spaces, versus the stitches. So for row 1, we're going to work a single crochet and a chain 1 in each of these spaces. To work a single crochet, insert your hook into the space, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops, and chain 1. Next space, single crochet and chain 1. Next space, single crochet and chain 1. Do this all the way across to the end. Single crochet, chain 1, 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 single crochet, chain 1. Last space, single crochet, chain 1. Then in the turning chain space, this is where we turned our work in the previous row. We're just going to work a single crochet right into that turning chain space. So row 1 is complete. To move on to row 2, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. And I also wanted to mention here that we're working into the spaces versus the stitches. And because our previous row was single crochet stitches, they're a little more snug and shorter. So the spaces are a tiny bit harder to see, but not so bad. They're right here. Each single crochet makes, I'll bring this a little closer, each single crochet makes a little V. So go in between the V's, you'll see a space. So we're going to work a double crochet, chain 1 into each one of those spaces. So double crochet, chain 1. You can see it a little bit easier now that I've worked it into there. Next space, double crochet, chain 1. Next space, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, get a little more yarn here, and double crochet, chain 1. We're coming up to the end of the row here. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. Okay. And the turning chain space here at the end, we'll work a double crochet right into the turning chain space. Okay, so row 2 is complete. It's going to look kind of like this. Okay, so to finish your Honolulu Button Scarflette, you're going to repeat rows 1 and 2 until it measures 50 inches long, or however long you'd like it to be. I simply worked until I ran out of yarn, and I reserved a few lengths to sew the buttons on. So let's scoot this out of the way a little bit. And I want to just show you, I'm going to remove my hook. I want to just show you, we're going to take our tapestry needle, and I'll show you how to weave the ends in really quick. Just thread your needle. Obviously this is our little swatch, but you'll do this on your finished piece. We're just going to go in one direction here. Pull the needle through, and then I like to come back into the opposite direction just to make sure everything is nice and secure. So bring it back through. And then you're going to take your scissors and just trim that off. And just pull everything and get it nice and neat. So that is how you finish up the piece. Now one more thing. Our piece here has 3 buttons. And what I did, let's scoot our swatch out of the way, I sewed them just along the edge, the bottom edge here. So what you can do, I'll show you how to, let's get a length of pink yarn. I'm just going to take a length of pink yarn so you can see it. So again, you're going to sew them just along the edge like that. Let's go back to our swatch. I'm going to use some, you'll want to use matching yarn to do this, but I'm going to do it in pink just so you can see what it looks like. So just thread your tapestry needle. And before you begin, I meant to say this earlier, but make sure your button, you're just going to use the eyelet holes as buttonholes. So make sure your button can pass through these holes easily. Make sure it's not too big so it can't pass, but also a button that's too small will fall right out of this hole. So make sure it's the correct size for the piece, that it's appropriately sized for the piece. And you're just going to thread a tapestry needle with matching yarn. Again, I'm using contrasting yarn so you can see it. But you'll use matching yarn, and you also want to make sure, this is my button that I'm going to show you, you want to make sure the eye of the needle with the yarn on there can pass easily through the buttonhole as well. Sometimes those buttonholes are really small. So just place the button where you'd like it to go, and what I kind of did was I put all 3 down first just to eye it up. So you'll put your button where you want it to go, and then take your tapestry needle and come in from the back, come up through one of the holes, come back down, just like that, and you're just going to do this, I left a little tail hanging off the back as well. You're just going to do this a few times, make a few passes, like that, but this would be with green again. Then you can take your needle off. After you've done that a few times, I only did it twice, you'll want to do it a few more times just to get everything nice and secure, and then you can just tie the back, and then the little ends that remain, you can weave them in the same way we wove in the ends of this corner. So that is how you make the Honolulu Button Scarflette. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the red subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again!